Sweat Equity Podcast and Streaming Show, the #1 comedy business podcast in the world. Pragmatic entrepreneurial advice with real dog talk.
Don't do that.
Why? You don't like that voice?
What are you doing? Don't do that.
Hey, we just won another award. What was it?
Business comedy podcast of the year from Southern State Business Awards.
Ooh, you wish you had that Southern State award. Listen to us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, your mom's Sony Walkman, that yellow one that is water resistant, but
not waterproof.
Yeah. Plenty of today's occupations didn't exist a decade ago, like esports game coach or cryptocurrency analyst. From Etsy seller to podcast producer, new opportunities to build a career are popping up every day. And Squarespace is the unlimited tool for professionals to use to build a site, to market the brand, and sell anything. You want to get a little free trial going? Hit up the link in the description of this episode. It hooks you up. That's the Double Dutch Rudder 69 B2B community help we like to have with our listeners.
So smooth the way you say it.
If you don't have a website, even if you're in corporate America, you should have one for your resume. Don't rely on LinkedIn to do the dirty work for you. And if you want to be our BFFs, subscribe to the pod, rate the show 5-star, and write a short review. Share it with a loved one or someone you don't love. It doesn't matter. Let's get it going. Ooh, yeah, horny, torny.
It's called Sweat Equity.
Listening to the Sweat.
This isn't usually how we roll. We don't prepare for the interview, but we definitely prepare the tech part.
Usually.
Yeah. and usually nothing.
Hey man, it'll be a good one.
Well, are we good to get into it?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Matt Farnsworth, .net. That's easy to say your name and give the link to reach out to you. Anything else you need to plug? We try to do it at the top of the episode. Nah, just that.
Else, no.
You'll find what you need for the audio listeners.
Type my name in, bro. You'll find stuff. Yeah.
Well, for the audio,
you might not want to see.
For the people that don't see this on video, you've got a very cool guy LA look to you. You got the beanie. You got the clear specs. You know, a white T-shirt that could be $2 or $200. One of those kind of, I can't never tell. How long did you live in LA?
Gosh, I think I moved out there in like 99, 2000. And I lived there until 2 years ago. So 21 years.
Damn. And what took you out there?
I went out there to pursue filmmaking and ended up jumping into acting early on. I was on a couple TV shows, did some independent films. Dude, I did a lot in show business in terms of like the whole acting thing. I was kind of at the top of the game out there with that in terms of like CAA and like screen testing for huge movies, all that stuff.
Wow.
And
CAA is legit, dude.
It was crazy, bro. Like, I mean, I screen tested for Star Wars, went up and met George Lucas. Like, I've done a lot of cool stuff. Like it was kind of mind blowing actually at times. Like sometimes you wonder, like, what am I doing here? For real? But, obviously didn't do that role and started writing my own films. I sort of kind of wanted to do it on my terms because there's a lot of terms in Hollywood. You have to, there's a lot of things you got to do to get places.
Like what?
Yeah, like what?
You said it with a smile.
Dude.
Like West Hollywood? West Hollywood 24-hour fitness?
Like, yeah. 24-hour fitness West Hollywood, you nailed it, bro.
I canceled my subscription once I heard something in the bathroom. I was like, I don't need a gym.
What'd you hear?
Slapping of flesh.
I thought it was like gossip.
No.
Okay.
That area is so gay. It's one of the gayest places in America. It's so gay. On the cop cars, it has a pixelated rainbow flag. And most people don't know that on the side of the cop car is supposed to be what West Hollywood looks like on the map. And then they made it into little squares.
That's gay.
Right. It's gay, I know that,
Yeah.
but I want to be gay. I wish I was, but you know.
It's a different kind of place, man. And I used to laugh a lot about like they used to have the funniest titles on the porn theater on Santa Monica Boulevard. Because it would be like the most hysterical titles ever when you drive by. Like you drive by and 1 week it'd be like, "Put it in, coach," or just these like ridiculous titles. But yeah, it was a weird place, man. Hollywood's Hollywood, and there's definitely accommodations that they want you to make. The Harvey Weinstein thing, that's no joke. Like some of that's real. And
Did you know about that before it broke?
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's so much going on in Hollywood, and
well, like I heard about Cosby's thing like 10 years before it really broke when Hannibal Buress talked about it on stage, and then that video went viral. I'd always heard it, but I'm so far down the totem pole that it doesn't. I've just heard it a bunch, but it's one of those things that a lot of comics heard it, but they never. What was I going to do? I don't know.
I mean, I enjoy, like, I loved my time there, but I didn't enjoy the process of like, you're the right guy for the role. We're going to we want you to do this role, but the director wants to hang out with you. Joel Schumacher would like to hang out.
Uh-oh.
And you're like,
he's probably pretty cool. Talk about Batman.
4?
Butchered Batman.
And I'm like kind of naive, right? I'm like from the Midwest, and I'm like, thinking, what do you mean hang out, dude? I'm like, oh, I see. So I don't know, man. I just didn't work for me that way because I like moralistically, I come from a very different place, and it just didn't work. So I started making my own films, and I did a movie called Iowa. It was at Tribeca, and it was kind of cool, man. It was released in theaters, and it was about like the crystal meth epidemic in the Midwest. And then I did a horror movie that I made called The Orphan Killer. He doesn't kill orphans. He is an orphan that kills people. It's a slasher. And it like blew up, dude, like 10 million downloads online and just like went like viral about 12 years ago. And I think everybody and their mom pretty much just, pirated the film that was into slasher and horror. So pretty much everybody's seen that. And then since then, I had a crazy like life in terms of my breakup with my ex, and just dude, I just had a crazy time. Like I went off the deep end about 7 years ago, and just blew my life up big time.
What?
We like to hear crazy stories.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, pause on that for a second. Put a pin in that.
Okay,
we forgot to.
I'm gonna forget.
No, we forgot to ask the question we asked everybody the first time on the show. This isn't the question, but I'm curious. Did you listen to an episode of this before coming on?
No.
Thank you for your honesty.
That's cool. So the question we ask everybody when they come on the first time is, what advice would you give your 13-year-old self?
You want a cliche answer? Like your mom knows about the magazines underneath the bathroom counter, underneath the towels, right? Pretty much.
It could be practical like that. It could be it's your choice. You're in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure phone booth. You go back in time. You go right in front of you, and you come out and grab yourself by the lapels and go, because you're wearing a blazer, I imagine, and you go. Like
your Viking genetics you should never drink.
Yeah.
Well,
don't drink.
Probably
bro.
Pretty good. That's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time we've heard that too.
Yeah.
Out of all the people, a lot
more people probably should say it.
Right. You're just not that good at drinking. That's what I like to tell my sober friends.
I'm too good at it. Yeah.
Yeah. You mean I'm awesome at it?
So let's fast forward to. It sounds like that's a major part of what you were just talking about. Kind of broke up with your girl, and you're kind of spiraling. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was sober for a long time, but look, there's a difference between sober and emotionally sober. Like you can take away the chemical, but you're still not emotionally sober, right?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
When you're like a creative dude like me, I was like, I'm playing these different roles and I'm auditioning for all this different stuff, and I'm using alcohol to sort of mask all these feelings that I have. And, it was cool. I met a woman, we had a relationship, we had kids, and I didn't drink for like 13 years. And when everything blew up, I was shooting a movie, and I met this bar, and they're just walking 13 years, right? And they're just walking around offering shots to the crew, and I just grabbed one and just slammed it, tequila, just done. 13 years, just unconsciously grabbed it and started drinking. The things were on the decline with her at that time. But it got so bad so fast that I ended up flipping a car 6 times.
Whoa.
Okay, I broke my neck, my wingtip vertebrae. 1 inch to the left, I would have been paralyzed from the neck down. So, here I am in this hospital bed, and I'm still not all there. I mean, I'm still being a baby. I think I checked myself out the next day on my own recognizance against the hospital's wishes, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna take off from here. I'm in this hospital gown. I get in this cab, and I go to this residence inn I'm staying at. This is like where my life went to, right? And what did I do? I drank. Wow, right? I mean, huge cut on my head, blood everywhere. I mean, it was just a mess. So I ended up having to go to rehab, and that's kind of where they said, dude, you're a baby. Like, you need to wake up. Like, seriously, like you need to have some humility. You're not the all being, all singing, dancing crap of the world. So let's get your head straight. And I kind of got straightened out. And after a couple of years, I ended up with a career shift, and I had marketed my own films to the point they had like 1 million followers. So I was good at marketing. And so that's where I started segued into starting my own company and starting to do digital marketing. And, obviously I know video because I've shot movies. And so that's kind of how that all happened. And then oddly enough, I ended up as a corporate executive at Transamerica. Weird.
That seems like a big jump.
Yeah, that is
how?
Weird, like the way life works. You never imagine that it's going to work the way it turns out. But what happened is I have a good friend in Knoxville, and he had a company called Tag Resources, which is a really great TPA. They're a third-party administrator. So what they do is they are basically like they handle all the back end of a retirement plan. So they handle all the fiduciary responsibility, all that kind of stuff. And they needed marketing because their look wasn't there, man. They financial industry standards for creativity are not exactly soaring. Yeah. Right. So I started helping him, and the company looked better. And eventually Transamerica came in and, was interested in us. We did a lot of channel marketing too and co-branding, and Transamerica came in and they ended up buying Tag Resources. And in the process offered me the position of the director of digital experience, Transamerica.
Wow. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this bottle of Tito's vodka.
Yeah, that was not cool.
It's not normally our decoration. It's just
I just wanted to have a
sad, happy coincidence.
Dude, I don't mind it.
Well, yeah, you don't hang out with a lot of sober people. They don't care most of the time. It's not like they're like a lot of the time. He can't reach through Zoom.
A wee bit in his face. That's all. Just a wee bit.
I was just trying to make a penis kind of sculpture out of the two. Tito's bottle in between with the Canada Dry, 0 sugar ginger ale lemonade.
Everything.
Right. Yeah. We're a penis heavy show.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
That's great, man. South Park it up, bro. In the last episode, what was that? Dick and balls.
Yeah. Our logo is a tie dick. It's a dick that's a tie. Eric should get credit for that.
My best
fantastic
work.
He had an aha moment. When creativity hits you.
Yeah.
The right way.
Hey, I love creativity in any form.
Well, I want to go back to I'm always interested in the setbacks people have and how they got out of it. So you had a career change. How did you kind of cope with that? How did you I always like to know, all right, what was the routine to get into this second career? Was it kicking and screaming? Was it, I don't know, I have these skills, but I don't know kind of thing? Because there's a lot of that going on nowadays. I don't want to lead the question too much.
It was all humility, it was all like taking what came my way and being like, okay, they're going to bring that out of the blue. They were like, do you want to just make some changes to this website where you're going to do we're doing co-branding. We're co-branding with our clients. Do you want to just change the colors on this and change the logo and change the name of the company that we're co-branding with? And I was like, oh man, this is like, nothing was beneath me at that point.
Right.
And so I just started doing it. And then as I saw what they were doing, I started seeing how it could be improved. And then as I saw how it could be improved, I would present to them my concepts of how I think that they could improve it with different technologies that I understood. So that's how that sort of segued. And then I realized I kind of enjoyed it, and life is about hard work, and not everything comes easily, and do the work, And I was so used to this sort of luxurious life where you get paid X amount to be on a TV show and all this, this easy sort of lifestyle where you show up, you say your lines, you get paid a lot of money.
But you got to be picked.
And I had to relearn. Yeah.
You got to wait to be picked, right? For that. That's what sucks about that industry. Like, people are like, when I was out in LA, and I was like, I just want to do stand up. But they're like, you should go for this commercial audition. I got a friend they'll put you, and I can't fucking read out loud, number one. And number two, this show has proven that almost every episode.
Almost every episode.
I think I'm dyslexic of some sort, but, that thing of waiting to be picked, right? This happens in corporate America too. And it's not a great, I don't know. I don't think it's the best strategy to wait around to be picked. It sounds like
not to be happy.
Well, but you can't, you can do as much as you want to do to get that role, but it's kind of limiting. And at a certain point, especially with acting.
Yeah, it's not sports. You can't go out and score 30 a game and then be like, I'm the best, obviously. Look at the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's not a meritocracy.
Yeah, it's politics.
And so, like,
politics,
a lot of actors, when you're doing auditions, they know who they want before you walked in. Like, they know the look they're looking for. And so, and a lot of the time, even if you crush it in there, someone else might be on hold that they're trying to negotiate. And so you might be the best one. And then you go, okay, but we're waiting for this, Seth Green. To see if we can sign him.
To me. I mean, there are multiple roles where I would get the call and say, you're the best actor. Sorry, we got to hire Devin Sawa. We got to hire Hayden Christensen. We got to hire this person. But we really wanted to hire you. But they've got the resume. They did a couple of things before you did that are a little bit bigger, so we're going to go with them.
Right.
I mean, it happens often. And a lot of times they're already picked out, and they'll say, hey, you're the best actor for it. I mean, I think if I had hung in there, I would have broken through because I was just so close on so many big things that something was going to happen, But
that's hope.
The way
right?
it turned out, it's hanging in there, right?
If you don't have that hope, what do you have? I mean, then it's just then it's depressing.
And
Obama hope.
I had a lot of good opportunities, and I think that I was real close, but I'm not regretful. I'm pretty happy with my life right now. I have a great family. Great kids, great wife, nice house. I'm blessed, man. Seriously. So, fame is not all it's cracked up to be. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Do you still have that itch to act and stuff, write stuff? Do you do anything like that still?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I'm writing a drama right now, crime drama. That's a period piece. I've been doing it for, sometimes it'll be 5 years. Nothing will come to me. And then just a lightning strike will happen, and I'll be, I want to write that. And I'll go and I'll start writing it, and then I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning, writing for 3 hours before I even work. And this is one of those moments. And I do still have connections to a lot of people in Hollywood. I mean, I had my agent was at William Morris, and then he moved over to CAA. And I have a lot of people that I know there that are at high levels, and some people at the medium levels. I think, really, honestly, the level that really gets things done is not that high-end level. Once you get to that level, nothing happens. It's really the real middle range working area where people really get the jobs, and they're out there hustling for you, and the agents are working for you. And so I've got connections at that level, and I plan to take this movie out and get it made.
Nice.
That's awesome.
You'll have to keep us updated on that. I definitely think we'll have to have you back on because I feel like there's a lot to to go to talk to you about.
Sure.
Are you so you're going to make it independent out of this? I want to really I want to ask. I think creative process is really interesting. It sounds like you do lightning in a bottle method. It comes to you. It's like shut everything down. I got to write this down. I got to get this out. Do you have
I will walk away. Yeah.
Do you have
anything I'm doing?
Other than lightning in a bottle? Because that doesn't stop really. You can have as whatever process you have for creative, but that'll happen no matter what. That you have to like. I have to like walk away and be like, let me record this real quick. This bad dick joke.
Yep.
I had an idea for a movie the other day. Tell me anything about this. So
he's gonna pick you.
One white rhino alive in the world, and there's a guy that's designated to like guard him until the thing dies. Just a movie about this guy and this rhino, where he doesn't want to do it. The first scene he's in the military and he sucks at something. And they're like, "You're on rhino duty." And he's like, "This is bullshit," and he has to go out there and guard this rhino. And of course, they start to like each other.
What country is this in?
Somewhere in Africa, obviously.
No, that'll work. That'll work. But you have to arc the story. So the rhino is going to be shipped from one place to another place.
I do want to be on
and
rhino
then he
duty.
has a job.
I am the rhino now.
Yeah, then he has to guard it as it's transported, and as it's transported, it's attacked multiple different times
Right.
by multiple different enemies, right?
The rhino
So
saves
we
his
get-
life, maybe, at some point.
So
There you go.
we're
There you go.
Establish that emotional connection.
I think we've both been nerding out about storytelling since we had John Livesay on like 2 months ago, because he really broke down storytelling in a branding kind of messaging way, which or like even a sales pitch, whatever you're doing a deck, you should tell stories, right?
Absolutely.
Especially in presentations. I want to ask you about that, but creative process. Do you have a process? Like here's how. If I'm on my game, here's what I do.
Well, I think that really a lot of what I do is make sure I never miss the moments of clarity that come to me. Look, our minds have to be at some point in time to get really creative, sort of clear of any kind of interference. And I think children do it best. Like kids have the best minds possible for creativity. They just have nothing that has already interfered with their antennas that can receive all these creative, lightning strikes that come. But I would say at night, when I go to sleep, I have a notepad near my bed, and I know it's hard to wake up and write stuff down, but I have come up with some of my best ideas, sleeping, and I'll wake up from a dream or in a state of, sort of half-assed asleep, and I'll just get up and I'll start writing, and I'll go into the bathroom and I'll write it down, or I'll record what I was thinking. And I know that throughout in history, there have been some of the best songs, the greatest musicians, and the greatest lyrics of all time have been written this way. And that's kind of one of the processes I do. And then organizationally, lately I've actually been leaning on Chat GPT for some organizational structure.
I want to ask you about that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like putting structure to the thoughts, right? You've got like, I got all this, I need to get all this in there, but I need it formulated, which a lot of writers, writing teams, one guy's that and one guy's more of the Chat GPT a lot of the time. So the structure of everything, that's what it helps you with?
I would say, like, especially from a business standpoint, if we're talking business here, my mind doesn't go as creative into organizing the bullet points of how I'm going to, get my messaging across in a business plan, whereas ChatGPT can help me with that. And then I take that, analyze it, and then I'll restructure, reorganize it, rewrite it how I want to write it.
And the notepad next to the bed, it's great, right?
It's tough, man.
But no, it's great, but you have to get out of the habit of going, I'll remember this, and not leaning over to write it. That's fucking.
I was gonna say just training yourself to actually wake up and do it. Is hard.
Yeah.
But I wake up like that still. Like I'll wake up, probably half the nights in the middle of the night. I won't have creative ideas, but sometimes I do, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta write this down.
Yep. And then you forget it in the morning if you don't. I always forget it.
Oh, no, my memory is fucking horrendous. So I write down almost everything, like religiously. Yeah. And so 49% better memorized if you write it down.
More made-up statistics.
From the corrections department. On another episode, I said it was 29, and I looked it up as 49.
Next time it'll be 53.
Well, whatever, man. Maybe we're all taking ginkgo biloba. But it's one of those things that lightning in a bottle is very interesting, and using AI is very interesting. How have you kind of done that? I want to ask you about marketing, but also the creative side, because creatively, I think it'll help. I think it helps form structure for real creatives. Like, you're a real creative. I think we can gather that. Like, by the way, I don't like being called a creative by people, because I do. They think I'm like.
You think you're flaky?
They think I think it's a pejorative in the business world a lot of the time. Unless you're probably where you're at, it's a little different because you're brought in as the creative. But I'm coming in trying to be a fractional CMO for someone, and they're like,
"Don't listen to him. He's creative."
I'm like, "No, it's math to me. A lot of marketing's math, and then a lot of creative is iterative in my head, right? I'm not going to make anything from whole cloth, but I can get that creative done. But I hate a lot of creatives in the working world because they are flaky. They are sensitive to due dates.
All that pressure. I can't work with this pressure. If you give me a date to have it done, it just ruins the process.
Dude, I've had conversations where I go, you can't tell me I don't understand the creative process for people. I'm a fucking comic. You can get it done if you fucking sit down and make yourself do it.
On stage in front of people. I'm creating. I don't prepare at all.
Well, I still go and do it, right?
Exactly.
But it's like,
about it.
But you can overthink all you want about doing the task, or you can just start doing it, right? So, while I'm trying to hire you as a creative to do it, don't give me this bullshit that I'm not empathetic or understand it. You have to sometimes sit down with nothing on in a blank room and just do it.
That's like I saw Tommy Wiseau, the guy who made that shitty movie. The Room, what was it?
The Room?
Yeah. Somebody on Twitter was like, Tommy, do you have any advice for starting up my film?
Billboards up.
And he just wrote
I know that
start.
movie. He was at the Limley. Yeah.
So
he had billboards up all over. You know how he made that successful? That was marketing. He put billboards up all over Sunset Boulevard, Highland, and La Brea. And he just marketed the shit out of that movie. And it became this cult phenomenon. I know Greg Limley over there who runs the Limley theaters, and you can get the movie in there. You can four-wall it. So what he did is he four-walled the movie, which means you pay a fee to get the movie in the theater. And so whoever was bankrolling him was allowing him to make that a cult classic, but I seriously doubt that movie was making a lot of money.
Yeah, it seemed like that guy had a weird financial backer somewhere. I
like how you brought up an example of the guy that's void of creative.
Right.
Give good advice.
My point was
the advice is good.
No, somebody asked his advice, how do you start making films? And all he wrote was start.
Yeah. Yeah.
Period. Start.
My uncle was a director and taught it over in University of Texas, Fort Worth, and that was his thing. Just go in there and get dirty. Just go. Stop overthinking it,
Now, especially, I guess, because we all have these phones that have 4K capability. I mean, you could technically do that. Is it going to be wildly successful? I don't know. I mean, some of the weirdest ideas and some of the things that seem like accidents sometimes end up being the greatest creative pieces that we work on. I mean, I think that commerce and creativity are really where I've had success in merging those two together, just the creativity with the business. And because I was raised by a businessman, my dad was a salesman. He worked for IBM. He worked for Microsoft. He was very successful, really smart guy. And so I learned a lot from him, right?
That's
and
huge.
I think
because he's a different echelon of salesman. That's especially back then. Those I'm guessing IBM 80s, Microsoft 90s, right?
Yeah, he was with Bill Gates, and he went with Bill Gates. He would meet with Bill, and he was in with all those guys, and he just he's a really smart guy, and so he taught me how to work hard work ethic.
Huge.
It was difficult for me because I was creative, but he taught me how to structure, sales, how to structure a business plan. And so I think that really benefited me on this side of things,
So yeah, so part of your process is be present around the kids, around the free time, right? I've had to figure that out as
Absolutely.
well, because it's like you got to let your brain breathe. The reason you're getting the ideas in the middle of the night is why Shower Thoughts is the best Reddit subreddit.
You finally don't have anything else to do.
Yeah, your brain is turned off. You can't look at your phone. That's like the only place people don't look at their phone now, in the shower. But it's like the reason you get these kind of left of center thoughts for yourself is because you're letting your brain kind of breathe and not have to work on anything at the time.
Yeah, it's all input, and then it's like, oh, I don't have anything to do. Maybe I'll do some output.
I get the best ideas working out a lot of the time because I can't really, my mind goes blank for a little bit and then back, it gets it all going.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I have a book that I think is one of the greatest books. I don't know where it's at. It's somewhere around here. That I think I've read in terms of creativity. It's by Rick Rubin.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about. I've actually heard a lot of people talking about this Rick Rubin book,
The Creative Act.
Yeah,
Dude, he just basically sums up who I am throughout. I mean, every word he says is like, oh, okay, I get it. I mean, I just get it. I think you would too. You'd be like, oh, it makes. And he talks about processes that you can try, that might be valuable to you. And so I've been trying to implement, some of those, practices even at Transamerica and sort of reverse engineering some of the way we think about, do we need to have a structured script before we record this interview with this sales rep that talks about, how fiduciary responsibility works and the best practices for selling that to an advisor. And I'm like, let's not script it. You've been doing this for how long?
Yeah.
10 years. You know what I mean? Just get in there and just do it, bro. Just I'm going to roll. I'm going to make you look amazing. You talk. Don't worry about it. I want you to pitch it to me like you're pitching an advisor. Don't do a script.
Yeah, that looks way more genuine too, because people who aren't used to acting or being on camera, if they are told that you have to say this the certain way, that'll get in their head, and you're better off just being like, do your thing. Just do it like any other day, and then that's when the magic happens.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're very adaptable. That last kind of story was really on the spot, I'm assuming, but it seems like you're kind of adaptable to the situation. Previously, kind of reactive, and now proactive. Tell us about AI in the creative process, or anything kind of with marketing, really. Because I just found out you can have it write custom code for you. Which I was like,
I think you can, and now they just plugins are just popping up on ChatGPT. So like what we're talking about here, I think, is prompting, and I can send you guys an email after this. There's a great guy online that has like these. He's got like a list of prompts.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, they're like, so if you prompt and you train ChatGPT on all of the f-stops, the kind of camera you want it to use. You train it on all, say you want to do an image for Midjourney, you train ChatGPT on all of the styles that you would like it to be able to choose from. And then you ask ChatGPT to create a description based on the settings that you've programmed. And after you do that, you hit render me that, and it generates this response. You take that response, put it over into Midjourney as an imagine prompt, and then it creates these ultra realistic images. And it's just wild to me that, learning this process, it's like you're communicating and you wonder, like, what am I communicating with? It's
crazy, doing like storyboarding for you. It's pretty much laying it out for you when you don't necessarily even know what it looks like. It tells you what it looks like. That's crazy.
Yeah,
dude, you could be like, I want Gary V's voice. Like, write me a speech in like a combination of Joe Rogan and Gary V's voice.
Bro, I got a story for you. It's called I Make Money. Okay, you do wine sales, and then you go bro. You just bro it out, bro. Yeah, that's my Gary V.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna buy the New York Jets one day. We got to go, but please send us that email. We'll have to have you back on because and that last part, that's exactly what we like on the show. Like, did you know about this thing with this thing that we don't know about, most people don't know about? That's awesome. We like to be resourceful, girthy.
So girthy in there. Good.
We're all about girthy ROI in this place, man. All right, Matt, we'll have to have you back on. I'll send the booking link and appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, stay in touch, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it.
For sure.